Good morning and welcome to America's Home Cooking. This is part 2 of the Caraway Rye Bread with soy that we're making. Now it's done its 2 rises, and as you can see, it's got a hard top. We're not even going to worry with it. We're going to continue with it. You don't have to remove it or anything. It'll be worked right in. Now we are going to add 3/4 of a cup of water just from the faucet. And we are going to add 1.5 teaspoons of salt. And we are going to be adding 2 tablespoons of caraway seeds. And we also want 3/4 of a cup of molasses. Well, molasses is slow, so we've got to wait. I'll be back when I get 3/4. Okay, we got the molasses out finally. We are going to need 2 tablespoons of butter melted. We're waiting for the butter, and then we'll start adding the flour and start bringing this into our shapes or loaves. You're going to use an 8.5 by 4.5. I think that's the distance. I call them regular bread pans because that's all we had at one time, and now they have 9 by 5, 9 by 6, 4 by 6. I mean, they've got so many different sizes. When people said bread pans, it always meant 8.5 by 4.5. I know you question why do you have to have these bread pans a certain size and all. Because the amount that you're putting into it, be it on a cake or anything, it will hold the amount and get it cooked at the time that you want. If you change the size of the pans, you could end up interfering with the actual cooking time. And that's why they use all these different sizes, is because of that. The amount of stuff that they're making to know what size pan it's gonna fit into. I have a little bit of butter that hasn't melted, but the rest of the butter in the pan are hot. So just stir it around a little. When you pour it in, make sure you stir it while you pour it in. And the reason for that is if you pour it too fast all at once, because it's hot, it's too hot for the yeast and you'll kill it. You don't want to kill it. That is the object of doing that. Okay, let me get my plate in here. We're going to put this flour in here. We're going to reserve some to go onto the counter. Oh, I know you enjoyed it. It was good when I had it. It's on the table. And so are your glasses. I see you. Hold on. There's too much liquid compared to the flour here. You made a mistake. Somebody made a typographical. I put 2, 4. There's 5 cups of flour. You're missing a whole cup. See, most breads take about 3 cups of flour. They gave me 5 to make 2 loaves. There should be near 6. And see, this is not even ready to be put into the pan because they want you to knead it, and this is not kneading. So I'm gonna have to add an extra cup of flour so it'll be all purpose. you, sometimes, you know, things happen. I'd rather have a little. Okay. I bet you I have to go get more flowers still. See? That is not even ready to knead. I'm going to put it down here, and I'm going to start, but I bet you I have to go get more flour. If I don't, I'll be surprised. See, like I told you, it's not even ready to go in bread pans. They want you to shape this into loaves. There wasn't enough flour to do that. I know my flours, you can't tell. My breads and my recipes, I know. I'm actually doing my hand so I can get some more flour. Because this needs more kneading. I know it. I know my flours and breads. See, every woman who cooks has her specialty. In other words, that's something that she's really, really good at. My grandmother was very, very good making candy. That was her thing. My mother's was buffets and laying out parties. She was really, really good. She knew how to do it, and she had that kitchen running smoothly to get out what she was trying to do. I saw her do it 2-3 times, and she was very good at it. My skill and my specialty are bread making. You can't tell me too much about bread that I don't already know. I've handled it, I've worked with it a lot. As my mother said, I came out of the chute knowing about bread. She introduced it. I messed up the first time over flouring until I understood what it meant to be smooth and elastic. And after that, I was the bread maker in the house. Now, I don't know if I'm going to use all this flour, but if nothing else, it'll keep this from sticking. I'll only take what I want. The dough is acting like it's going to be a light bread. All right, it's not a heavy one. See how it's acting? It's really quite soft. Like I said, it's not quite ready. You see how tacky it is? That's how you know it's really tacky. By now I wouldn't have it sticking to my hands, but it's really sticking still. Still sticking to the counter, sticking to everything. This one's going to be hard to work with. I can see it now. Pinch your seams and all. Seams tied down in the bread pan. Do you see these are going to be big loaves? It's going to be somewhat tacky. What you're trying to do is eliminate as much of it as you can to where you can work with it. I'm not even kneading real hard because I just know what this bread's going to do. It's still sticking no matter what I do. Pinch your seams. Roll it, shape it. Now what I'm going to do with that leftover flour is I'm going to put it in the flour that I fry with. Or if I have to flour stew, because I'm making a stew, the meat, I will use it. It's already got different grains in it, and I've got different grains in that over there, so it'll be an interesting combination. Those alone, just like that, because it's sourdough. You do not have to cover these. And when it doubles, we'll get ready to cook it. Hi. Sometimes people ask me, what do I have for breakfast? I am asked. And I'm unconventional in this way. I sit there and maybe 4 or 5 times a year, I treat my family as well as myself to having dessert for breakfast. with a glass of milk and coffee. That's what we would do periodically. It was a treat. So whatever I had, if it was cookies or cake or pie or something, we would have dessert to start our day. You have to break the monotony of breakfast, having coffee, toast, or eggs and stuff. I like to change it around a bit. So I decided that my family would have a surprise. They never knew when it was coming, but they would sit there and have dessert for breakfast. And sometimes we have muffins, and sometimes I'll make a spread. Like this morning, isn't what you would think for breakfast, but I made this lox and chive spread. And I'm going to put it on toast, and I'm going to have my substitute coffee, which is mushroom coffee, which I happen to really like. I didn't think it was going to be that good. It was really, really good. And that's what you call an unconventional breakfast. But I like doing it. So I'll have sometimes cereal in the morning with milk. But this morning I was having this and I said, you know, they always want to know, because I'm always cooking supper. Well, I don't have to worry about that today. So I'm going to go ahead and fix myself some toast and put this cream cheese on it and have some of my coffee. Now, one thing you have to learn when you're making bread is learning how to slice it. I have a son who goes real thin, real thick. He's still trying to get the angles of it, but he's getting it down. Anyway, this is my breakfast. So what are you having for breakfast this morning? I bet you it's coffee or tea you're going to start off with. I start off with a glass of water before I started getting the bread and everything ready. So I will see you. I am going to finish making my breakfast, and I'll see you when the bread is ready to bake. Okay, my bread is just about an inch above the edge of the loaf pan, so I'm going to turn my oven on to 400. And I'm going to wait till it heats up. We are going to bake these 45 to 50 minutes. Now I am going to cut this video off because I have something else that I want to make and get going, which will be sage meatballs, okay? So listen, take care, and listen, the loaves will be beautiful when they come out, okay? Don't forget that you have to tap the bottom and hear that hollow sound to make sure that they're done. Also, take them out of their pans right away and put them on a rack to cool on their sides, because if you don't, it'll collapse back down into a dough, and that's not what you want. All right, so take care, and I'll see you in a bit.